You're listening to Ravindra Puri's podcast, Decoding Life. Mind is a mysterious thing. Something called mind does exist, but no one has seen it. No one knows its shape, color, form, or location. But we still want to have control over it. What we know is our thoughts come from our mind. Let's do a small experiment. Can you imagine a white ball? If you're struggling to imagine a ball, can you think of a lehma? If you don't know Vietnamese and Finnish language, then probably you won't be able to imagine what I asked for. You don't know what it is, so you can't imagine. Now, can you think of a white cow? Now you can, because you know both white color and a cow. So you can imagine a white cow. Creativity is about using imagination to generate something new. The experiment we just did, you could not imagine a ball or a lima, so how can you create a new thing? It means mind cannot imagine something which it does not know. Then how can we be creative? Here is the secret. We all think that mind is one object which is involved in all our emotions, decisions, judgments, etc. That's why we find it difficult to address mind-related matters. What we call mind, yogic culture calls it as antakarana, or an internal organ, and divides it into 4 different parts. Those 4 parts are mind, intellect, ego, and memory. So how is it different than our normal definition of mind? As per yogic culture, mind is a part of internal organ which coordinates with our sense organs. It takes messages from sense organs and passes it on to intellect. Intellect then analyzes it and sends back information about the action required. Mind passes that information about action to sense organs, and organs perform those actions. Ego is I-ness, a recognition of self. When I say I am a man, that's I-ness. I am talking about my own identity. It could be gender, nationality, qualities, strengths, achievements, or anything that is associated with my identity. That is called ego. Memory is not just our memory in our head. Every cell in our body has certain memory. For example, you may find similarities between me and my great-great-grandfather or grandmother. How did my body get those similarities? Because many cells of my body have their own memory. Every part of my body knows how to function because it has its own memory. So there are different types of memories. Let's take an example to understand this internal organ and its 4 different parts. Let's say you're walking in a forest alone. Suddenly, you see something slithering and making hissing sound. Your eyes will pass on message to your mind. Mind will forward that message to your intellect. Your intellect will say that it's a dangerous snake. Your ego will say that snake can bite me. Your memory will say a person can die because of snake bite. That's how all these 4 parts of our internal organ work together. Now, if you see this process and understand the functioning of mind, there is very less opportunity to make the mind creative. So when we talk about making mind creative, we are probably targeting a wrong object to make ourselves creative. When we talk about creativity, we need to work on all these 4 parts of our internal organ. Most important among all these parts is memory. Even Steve Jobs, in his famous principle about innovation called connecting the dots, said, "You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards." So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. If you understand what Steve Jobs said carefully, when Steve Jobs said, "You can connect the dots by looking backwards," he is referring to our memory. We can connect only those dots which are present in our memory. While there could be many other ways to be creative, your memory is your ace card in your creativity journey. To be creative, you need to dive into your vast storage of memory and access whatever you need. And that's the secret of being creative. Thank you for listening to my podcast. If you think this episode can help someone else you know, then please share it with them. If you would like to listen to my future episodes, then please subscribe to my podcast Decoding Life on your favorite podcast platform like Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, Anchor, Overcast, etc. You can also leave your comments and feedback on my website www.ravindrapuri.com. See you next time.